Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to be talking about Andrew Yang's perfect cabinet and who he should put in as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. And I won't bury the lead here. That person is Hanna Rosin. She is a radio personality. She is a book author. She is a podcaster, and she is a magazine writer. She's been those things. Right now, she's a radio personality. She's been all those things throughout her career, and she is the absolute perfect person to fill the job for Health and Human Services as the Secretary of Health and Human Services, replacing Alex Azar. Okay, so why Hanna Rosin? All right, Hanna Rosin is she's a really wonderful person, super brilliant, and has a winsome personality. Those are two things they often don't go together, okay? A lot of people who are intelligent are not winsome. They're not joyful. They don't get along with a lot of other people, right? Combining high-level intelligence, right? Creative, adaptive intelligence, exactly the type of intelligence that we see in Andrew Yang, that often comes with a very clear view of humanity, a very clear view of the world, which can be quite depressing, right? Police officers, you think they're generally mean because they're just mean people? No, they're often not the nice, not the most friendly, not the most happy people because they see a lot of bad stuff, right? But with intelligent people, they see the world more clearly than, I think, the more intelligence you have, the more clearly you can see the world, right? And we live in a broken world. This world is fundamentally broken. And so a lot of times when you're really intelligent at that level, at the level Hanna Rosin is, a genius, it can kind of give you a hard set, right? And Hanna Rosin doesn't have that. She's just a really joyful person. She's winsome, right? And so that's a big deal, right? She wrote a book called The End of Men and the Rise of Women. It's really quite a prophetic book. It wasn't, she's not a highly religious person. But it really, essentially what she was saying is, I read her book and this is my summary of what she said, right? I felt her book was saying, for a long time we've been saying patriarchy down, and now guess what? It is. You just don't recognize it yet, right? So she brought forward a lot of facts in that book that a lot of people aren't aware of. One of them is the universities. So she called out that really, if you go to any university in America, what you're going to find is a lot of really smart, driven young women and a lot of listless young men, right? And the reality right now is, in the academic world and in the professional world and in the business world, it's women up, men down from a momentum perspective. We still have a historical perspective of a lot of male leaders, but the reality is increasingly men are struggling to get degrees in college, right? So less men are going to college, less men are getting college degrees than previous, right? And overall, women are succeeding at a much higher rate in college than men. And this is a leading indicator, right? So essentially, Hanna Rosin's book was saying, hey, it was a female saying, I think we won. Uh-oh, what does that mean? And she just brings forward all these really Freakonomic level numbers, that successful women are finding it harder and harder to find men who they can pair with in a romantic way, who actually match them in achievement, and a whole bunch of a whole lot of evidence that the patriarchy really has fallen. People just haven't seen it yet, right? And essentially she was just reading leading indicators that saying you're about to see that between that conflict of women getting equality, that really men have really toppled before anybody recognized it, right? She talks a lot about kind of that issue of middle-aged white guys committing suicide at a much higher rate than many other groupings within the United States of America, things like that, right? That was a hard book for her to write. She paid a lot of dues for writing that book. A lot of people didn't like the message of that book, and but the reality is, I love the fact that she did the research and she even reported things that she didn't want to report, right? Like, and she's just really, really brilliant lady, right? She's written articles on a host of different things, and the other thing is she's always ahead of the time. She can always see what's coming, right? So she was a magazine writer for a long time, right? Then podcasts dropped on the scene. She dropped into podcasts almost from the beginning. She was on Slate's podcast for women, which was called Double X. She did a tremendous job there, really highlighting and showing a lot of compassion for women and highlighting and covering women's rights in a way that I had never seen before. She so she was on with podcasts right away. She's now on NPR's Invisibilia, and Invisibilia, she leads that show. She hosts that show, right? And that show really investigates these invisible forces that drive human behavior, right? So she really knows a ton about culture. She's super intelligent. She's winsome. She's kind. She has a good heart. She's a mother, like she's a mother and a wife. And the thing is, there are many mothers and wives, but one of the things that really impressed me was how she allowed those roles to inform her work, right? To make her work better and to work toward work-life balance and all kinds of things, and was really open and honest about these things way before anybody else, and just doing it in a really great way, right? So I think Hanna Rosin, she's just a real stand-up human being, and one of the reasons why I think Andrew Yang should appoint her as the Health and Human Services Secretary is just her genuine care for human beings, her kindness, matched with her intelligence and her capability, and frankly, her ability to be an oracle. I think she sees things 5 or 10 years before they hit, and I think that could be incredibly helpful in a role where we're trying to deliver health and human services for many people at many different levels. I think she could really help with the whole mental health issue, helping to establish that as something that Americans are more susceptible, more willing to pursue, right? Making it so that people understand that kind of need more. She's really just absolutely an amazing human being, and I really think she is a dead set lock, awesome success as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. I think she's Andrew Yang's absolute best pick for Secretary of Health and Human Services. My pick for Andrew Yang's cabinet, my suggestion to him and his team, Hanna Rosin. He could not do a better job with other pick. I really think she's a lock for success. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful day.